Today, we are going to be talking periods, body image, boobs, sexuality, body hair, relationships, friendships, future plans, tattoos, literally a bit of everything. Anything that you guys have asked me for advice on, I'm going to be answering in this video. I love doing these kind of like, well, I call them girl talk. Obviously, if you're a boy, it doesn't matter what gender you are, you can still watch this video, but I just loosely use the term girl talk because it is about a lot of things that are considered girly, you know. And I'm also partnering up with Always in this video to talk about their platinum night pads. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about these in a minute. But yeah, I thought I would just do like a girly chats type video because you guys seem to really like them. I actually really enjoy filming these. So let's just jump into the questions. Oh, and all of the questions that I asked for you guys for on Instagram are going to be anonymous. I'm not going to mention anyone's names just to save any embarrassment. Not that you should be embarrassed about any of these questions, but you know, just in case. Obviously, with this being a girl talk type video, I did get a lot of questions about periods. There's a question here that says, any tips on how to cope with the time of the month? There's another question saying, what do you use for periods? Another question saying, how do you deal with heavy periods, so tricky during exams? And I fully understand like all of your struggle. When I was at school, I used to have super heavy periods. Maybe a little bit TMI, but also I feel like we're all kind of friends here and periods are such a normal thing anyway that I feel like they should be talked about more because I feel like quite a lot of young people are quite scared of periods, and obviously it's a completely natural part of life. It happens to so many people, so it's nothing to be scared or embarrassed about. But like I said, I am working with Always on this video. This is their platinum night range, so these are the platinum night pads, and I believe these come in a couple different sizes. I've got 2 different sizes of them here, but I've been using Always since I started my period for around 10 years now, which, you know, I feel like they're such a well-known brand anyway in terms of period protection. But these Always platinum night pads in particular, if you do have a really heavy period and you're worried about leaking in the middle of the night, which I know is something that so many people are worried about going to sleep, especially if you're staying at a friend's house or boyfriend's house, girlfriend's house, and I don't know, like it can be a little bit embarrassing if you do leak. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens. It's happened to me before. But with the platinum night pads, these ones are the ultra secure ones. They've got the wings around the side, which is really good. They've got like a leak barrier kind of around the edge. They've got a 60% larger back than the Always normal pads, like normal regular size pads. So that means that they're going to give you that extra length and extra protection. I'm actually just going to open one up because why not? This is what the Always platinum pad looks like. So as you can see, it's quite a lot larger than your average pad. They are made of a super soft, comfortable material, and they're quite like squishy as well. So another good point obviously is they're gonna give you that comfort so you can get a good night's sleep, because when you are on your period, it's really important to get rest, as I'm sure you have experienced if you are on your period. You need to get that rest, and you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to be lying there like thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna leak. Like, I know what it's like. Or even if you have a particularly heavy period during the day and you don't want to use tampons and you want something that's going to give you that extra bit of kind of support and coverage so you're not going to leak, for an example, in an exam where you can't just get up and go to the toilet, then I actually used to sometimes use night pads during the day as well. It's pretty much been my go-to brand since I started my period, and if you guys haven't tried these, I will leave a link down below. Another thing that I used to do when my periods were particularly heavy, just to make myself feel a little bit more comfortable, is I would obviously wear one of the night pads. I would just wear like some not super tight fitting, because you don't want to be like too hot and sweaty, you know, but just some snug fitting long pajamas, because then I feel like it just keeps you a little bit more comfortable. Whereas if you're just wearing like some short flowy shorts or something, then I don't know, for me personally, I just wanted something that felt a little bit more like enclosed. The next question says, how do you find the right bra size? Like, honestly, it's a struggle. That is a very good question, and something that I've definitely struggled with throughout my life. I'm trying to think of the website that I used. There was a website that, wait, let me see if I can find it. That was it. It's called A Bra That Fits, and you basically take loads of different measurements on there, and then it comes out with a kind of estimated calculation of what your bra size should be. I know that there's like different shops that you can go into to get measured and stuff. Actually, you know what? I don't think I actually have ever done that. I basically just kept on trying on a load of bras until I found one that was comfortable. I still am not 100% sure on my bra size, but I think I have a pretty good idea. But honestly, it differs from shop to shop, so it's kind of tricky. Like, I see what you mean. Someone has said, when did you have your first period, and did/do you get bad cramps? When I first got my period, between the ages of like 12 and I think it was maybe like 15, 14, I used to get the actual worst cramps. I got really, really heavy periods, which is why like I used to wear the night pads during the day, and I got the worst unbearable cramps. One of my friends who was a doctor reckoned that I had this thing where basically my body thought that I was going into labor, so I was getting like contraction pains. Like they were so painful to the point where I would be lying on my bed screaming, like actually screaming. That's the worst pain I've ever experienced. That would only kind of be for like 1 or 2 days of my period throughout the week, and also as well it would get so painful to the point where it would literally make me throw up, which I know is gross, and again, maybe a little bit too much information, but it was honestly horrendous. There were a couple times at school where I'd be sitting in lessons and I could feel the cramps coming on, and I would just be like, oh my god, I need to go down to like the nurse at school. And then there was a few times where I just stayed in the nurse's office all day, or I would like be sent home, and yeah, it really sucked. And there was one day where I think I'd taken the day off school and I was lying on my bed and I was like screaming. I couldn't move. I was throwing up. My mum thought that I had appendicitis, so she like rushed me to our local doctor, and they were basically like, nope, she doesn't have appendicitis. She's just got really bad period pains. And then I think from that time onwards, they recommended that I went on the pill, but like a very kind of low dose pill. I think the one that I'm on is like Loestrin 20, I think that's what it's called. And ever since then, I think that was when I was 14, ever since I was put on the pill, my periods got so much lighter, and it pretty much got rid of most of my cramps. Like I still do get like normal period cramps, but nothing to the extent that I did have. So for me personally, going on the pill really controlled like the heavy periods and the really awful cramps. I would try paracetamol, ibuprofen, Feminax, none of them would work. Something that did work a little bit but still didn't really work was called mefenamic or mefenamic acid, I think, and that was another type of like prescription drug, but that was kind of like the last step before I went on the pill. And ever since, I have been on the pill, and it seems to work for me. But I know it doesn't work for everyone. But I would just say like chat to your doctor if you do have really, really bad cramps. And also as well, another thing that I think it could be related to is I suspect that I might have endometriosis, but I'm kind of too scared to have the operation to confirm it. Another question says, you went on a lot of trips without your boyfriend. Does it affect your relationship? How do you handle things? Yeah, so I've been on quite a few work trips recently without my boyfriend, but I think the longest one I've been on is 5 days, and my boyfriend has a full-time job, so he can't really just like pack up and come on a trip with me. So well, I mean, I'm sure he is a little bit jealous, and I'm sure he would love to come with me. I would obviously love to have him come with me as well, but also as well, not all the trips that I've been on have offered like a +1 to come with me. But yeah, that's why he doesn't come on all my trips with me, but it's totally fine with us. Like it hasn't caused any problems at all, because he's at work anyway, and for me, like it's technically a work trip, most of the ones that I've been on, and you know, we'd still like message every day, so yeah, it didn't really change things. I don't see him every day anyway, like we see each other twice a week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Another question says, have you ever had body acne and been self-conscious about it, and how did you clear it? Yes, I have. Also around the time of kind of like puberty, I used to get pretty bad like spots on my shoulders and like a little bit on my chest and my back. I still sometimes, like around like time of the month, I can get like spots on my chest, and I do get like the odd one here and there. But again, like that's something that's totally normal. I feel like not enough people talk about that because it does happen to so many people. But something that I used to do is you can actually now get a lot more options of like medicated body washes. I know the Body Shop has got like a tea tree body wash, but what I used to do is just use the tea tree face wash on my body, and I would use like those exfoliating gloves and just get some of my like face wash with like either tea tree or salicylic acid, something in it that's gonna like fight spots, and I would use that like on my shoulders every day. And also I just put like spot cream on my shoulders to kind of like help reduce it. Someone else has said, how do I know if the trips and lunches I keep going on are dates or just friend outings? I think just ask. If that was me and I'd been like seeing someone for, you know, dates and drinks and stuff like that, after maybe like 3 or 4 dates, I'd kind of message them and be like, hey, so like, what are you thinking? What is this? Like, are we dating? Like, what are we? Or maybe just jokingly, next time you get invited out on a trip or like a lunch, be like, so is this a date? And kind of, you know, joke about it a bit and see what the person's reaction is. I would just ask. I always find that honesty is the best policy. Someone has said, how long to wait before moving on from a relationship? I think you've got to wait till the point where you are not thinking about the other person in a romantic way, and you're not at the point where you're like, oh, I want them back. You know, you've got to make sure that you don't want your ex back. You're not going to be jealous if your ex gets into another relationship. Just try and make sure that all the feelings are gone before you move on to somebody else. Otherwise that can get really tricky. Oh, okay, this is kind of related. Someone has said, what do you do if you're in a relationship with someone for years and develop feelings for a second person? In my opinion, as soon as you get to a point in your relationship where you're starting to get feelings for someone else, you need to end that relationship, because you're clearly not with the right person. The way that I see it, you know, if you're with the right person, you're only going to have eyes for them. And if you start catching feelings for someone else, something has gone wrong somewhere, and I don't think you should be in that relationship anymore. Someone else has said the best way to remove facial hair. And I think I might have talked about this on my channel before. Maybe I haven't. Wait, let me go get what I use and I'll show you. So even though I do have blonde hair, I'm quite a hairy person, as you can probably see from my arms. Like, I've got quite a lot of body hair. And I did an Instagram post about this recently, just talking about how, like, I wasn't going to post a particular picture. It's a picture of me in my bikini. If you want to see that, it's over on my Instagram, which is just Soph. What I used to do is I used to just, like, pluck my top lip hair, or sometimes I would wax it. I feel like they're probably the best options if you want it to grow back smooth. But because the hair, like, on my face is quite fine, like, especially, like, up here, I use one of these little, like, fold-out razors that I got on Amazon, and I just do like a little bit of this. Although I would recommend, like, if you're quite young, I wouldn't get one of these because they are quite sharp. But yeah, I'd say your best bet for it growing back smooth is probably getting it waxed. Someone has said how to not get razor bumps, and then another person said, do you have any tips as to how to avoid stubbly hairs after shaving? My top tip for this would be exfoliate. Like I said before, I've got these exfoliating gloves. I've also got like a mitt, which has got like a rough side, and I use that to exfoliate. So yeah, I would say wherever you're going to be shaving, make sure you exfoliate it first, then do your shaving with something that's like really smooth. I actually use conditioner to shave because I find that it's cheaper than shaving cream, and also it like works really well because it's like really slippery. Shave the area, and then I would say exfoliate again. Just basically, exfoliation is key to not getting razor bumps, and also as well moisturizing afterwards. Like put on like a light moisturizer, maybe like a I don't know, like a calming moisturizer, like an aloe vera moisturizer or something like that, to kind of calm down the razor bumps. But in terms of avoiding stubble when shaving, that can't be avoided, because so you have like your little hairs like this, and then when you like shave them off, it makes like a kind of angled edge on the top of your hair, like a blunt edge on your hair, which is gonna feel stubbly. Whereas if you wax, it rips your hair out like from the root. I don't know why I'm doing demonstrations with my arms. When you wax or pluck hairs or epilate hairs, because it pulls them out from the root, it then has to grow like a new baby hair, and then it will be soft. Okay, someone has said, I've dated my boyfriend for about 2 years, but I still think about my ex. What should I do? I feel like you shouldn't be in that relationship, because it's not really fair to be in a relationship and be thinking and have feelings about someone else. Maybe you're not over your ex, and if you're not over someone, in my opinion, I don't think you should be in a new relationship with someone else. Because like, if you think about it, if it was the other way around, if you found out that the person you were in a relationship with had feelings for their ex, I feel like that would really hurt you. So someone has said, my boyfriend of 6 years ignores me a lot on a daily basis. Should we break up or should I stick? Okay, so if you have been in a relationship for 6 years, yes, I imagine you wouldn't have the same spark as, you know, from the initial first starting out period of the relationship. But then if somebody is ignoring, like if your boyfriend is ignoring you on a daily basis, that's just rude, for one. If your significant other is ignoring you, is that really somebody you want to be spending like the rest of your life with? If you put it like that, I don't think you should have to put up with that. Maybe that's just me, but I wouldn't want to be ignored. I feel like that would just make me feel really sad. And if somebody's not making you happy, you know, if somebody's not bringing out the best in you and making you the happiest you can be, then I don't think you should be with them. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's just my advice. That's what I would do. Oh, interesting. Someone has said, what's your view on the different types of contraceptives? Why are there always motorbikes up and down my road? So, okay, if you're really young, you might not even know what a contraceptive is. Hi mum, hi grandma, if you're watching. So I've already spoken about the pill in here. That is a type of contraceptive, but people also use it for loads of other things, like to control skin issues or period pains, like in my situation. But it's also used to protect against pregnancy. So obviously if you are sexually active and you're having sex, you need to use contraception if you don't want to get pregnant. I know that some people seem to think that, oh, it won't happen to me, but it can happen to you. I feel like I'm that teacher in Mean Girls. There's so many different ones now. There's the pill, which won't protect against STDs because it's just like a hormonal thing. Obviously you have condoms, which are your kind of standard ones, which can protect against STDs, but not 100%. I don't think any form of contraceptive is 100% protective, but it's a lot better than not having any at all, you know. You can get an implant, which also I think changes your hormones. You can get an injection, you can get a coil. There's lots of different types. Basically, in my opinion, I think you should go for the one that you think is right for you. Go and talk to your doctor or go to a sexual health clinic and discuss it with them and talk about, you know, what the different options are. They can probably teach you more about the pros and cons of each of them and try and figure out which one would be the right one for you. For example, if you think you're going to be really bad at taking the pill and forget, then maybe it's better to get like an implant or something so that you don't have to remember to take it. So someone has said, I have extremely strict parents and I think I'm bi. 1, how do I confirm I am? And 2, how do I tell them? Okay, to answer your first question, I feel like you don't, I know that you might be confused, but you don't actually necessarily have to confirm anything. You don't have to rush to make a decision about your sexuality. You don't have to like confirm to people or yourself that you are definitely bi and like label yourself as one definite thing, if that makes sense. If you don't feel comfortable telling your parents about your sexuality, you don't even necessarily have to tell them. Like if you think that it's going to put you in danger or if you think that it's just gonna not be a good turnout, then you don't have to tell them. If you are worried about telling them, maybe wait until you're a bit older, maybe wait until you're a bit more sure of things. Ooh, someone has said, do you think it is a bad idea to move in with your boyfriend before you guys are married? In my opinion, no. And I'm gonna put it like this. If I am going to marry someone, I don't want to marry them and then find out that we cannot live together and they've got really annoying habits around the house that I don't want to, you know, that I can't get along with, if that makes sense, or vice versa. They might be sick of me and my messiness. The way that I would like to do it is I'd much rather live with somebody first and then have marriage as kind of like a after thing, to kind of like seal the deal, you know, because I feel like living with somebody can definitely change a relationship quite a lot. So I'd rather experience that first and then think, okay, this is working fine, now we can get married. Ooh, interesting, juicy question. How did you tell your mum/parents about losing your virginity, or did you never say? Hi mum, I know you're gonna be watching this. I never like sat down with my mum and was like, so mum, guess what happened today? Or my dad for that matter. No, I didn't like sit down and tell my parents. At the time I was a lot more like not as mature as I am now and I would have felt really uncomfortable doing that. But I feel like they just kind of assumed, because at the time I was in like a long-term relationship and when I got to 16 they were probably, you know, they probably assumed. But no, I didn't actually tell them, but I think they're not stupid, so. Someone has said, do you feel that your character changed after dating your new boyfriend? You seem more confident. Yeah, actually, I kind of do. I feel like since we've been together, this sounds really cheesy, but I genuinely feel like I've been so much happier since we've been together. And I don't know, I feel like he really brings out the best in me and I definitely have felt a lot more confident and I don't know, I feel like I've grown up a lot as well, and just in general I feel like I'm a more kind of happy, positive person. And yeah, I don't know whether that was all of his doing, but he's definitely has a positive influence on me and my life, and I think that's great. Like if you can find somebody that brings out the best in you and you bring out the best in them, then like, yeah, I think that's a good thing. The next question is, do you prefer to use pads, tampons, or even any menstrual cups? I didn't actually use tampons for ages because I just couldn't get the hang of them and I found them uncomfortable and awkward. But now I kind of use a combination of both. Most of the time, like if I'm just kind of, you know, around the house and during the day, and obviously when I'm sleeping I use pads, but if I'm going to be doing anything active like swimming, or like if I just want to go somewhere where I want to wear an outfit that's a little bit more tight fitting, then I'll wear a tampon. I have bought a menstrual cup. I've tried to use it once, I've failed, I've been a little bit scared of it, and I've put it back in the cupboard. So if anyone has any tips, please let me know. How to deal with people taking banter too far. When you're kind of joking around with your friends, they might think that they're making a funny joke, but when you push it like over the line too many times, I feel like that's the point where you can upset people. So I would say just be honest with your friends and maybe drop them a message and be like, look, like, I know that, you know, you're trying to be like funny and have a bit of like banter and stuff, but it is actually hurting my feelings. Like, maybe could you just tone it down a little bit, because they might not actually realise that they're upsetting you. Maybe they do, and if they do and they know that they're hurting your feelings, then maybe they're not the right friends to be hanging around with. This is a question that I can really relate to. So it says, my friends are the type who go out partying. I'm not like that, but I'm scared they'll leave me. So I had this all throughout my sixth form years. I was not into that at all. Like, I definitely am a bit more into it now, but I'm still like, I'd honestly rather just have like a chilled evening in. And I kind of just explained to them that it wasn't really my thing and I'd rather not go, but then I made sure that I would like see them in other situations. So like we would still always like, I don't know, like go out for pizza or like go out shopping or like go to each other's houses and stuff, just so that we still had that like friendship and connection, and I was still talking to them every day at school, but I just wasn't like going out with them. And also I would always be like, oh, can you tell me like if there's any drama, any gossip, like tell me what happens, because I still wanted to be filled in on it, but I just didn't want to actually be there. Ooh, someone has said, stuck in a weird situation, how do I lose feelings for a boy while I'm still intimate with him? In all honesty, it's extremely difficult to lose feelings for somebody while you're still intimate with him. I feel like that's not really going to happen. If you have feelings for somebody and you guys are still doing bits, then good luck to you, girl. That's a really tricky situation. But if you are not wanting to have feelings for this person, I think you just need to cut ties and not do the whole kind of like friends with benefits thing, because like for some people that's fine. They can like do stuff with people and they don't catch feelings. But when you get to that point where you're like, ooh, I actually kind of like this person a bit, I feel like that's when it gets tricky. That's when the whole friends with benefits things can get dangerous. Someone has said, best place to get push-up bras and bikinis, and I've actually brought a few for example. Honestly, most of my bras I buy in Primark. I think because I have a pretty small chest area. I don't need super good quality supportive bras because, I mean, let's face it, like my boobs are not going to be breaking any bras anytime soon. The best push-up bra that I've actually got is from Primark. Okay, this looks kind of gross because it's been a little bit stained from fake tan, don't judge me. But this has got no wires. I think they do it in a few different colours. It's made of a really soft material and it's literally just like padding. On the inside it's got these kind of like, yeah, can you see there? They kind of look like angel wings. It's got like a padded bit here. This is the most comfortable push-up bra that I own, because as you can see it's literally just made of like foam. Like there's no wires, there's nothing that's going to cut into you. But also as well, like Primark do some other really nice kind of general bra and knicker sets, and most of them are push-up ones. Like a lot of them are. Like I got this one the other day which is really cute. I think this was around like £6 maybe for like the top and the bottoms. And yeah, these ones aren't quite as comfortable because it's like a harder padding, but this one's just got like a little bit of push-up. In terms of bikinis, River Island do great bikinis for making your boobs look bigger. The padding in the River Island bikinis is a little bit thicker than like normal bikini padding. And yeah, I have some really nice bikinis from River Island. How did you learn to love your stretch marks? So again, if you follow my Instagram, you would have seen the picture that I posted on there the other day, and I basically put in the caption that, like, you know, you could see my stretch marks, you could see my body hair, and I wasn't looking super toned and I was feeling a bit self-conscious about it. But then I just decided to post it on Instagram because things like stretch marks are so normal. And like, even though I didn't really like develop too much during puberty and like gain that many curves, I still have got stretch marks on my thighs and on my bum. Something that made me feel a lot better about it was seeing ASOS in particular and some like brands online. They decided to not airbrush out any stretch marks from their models. And so like seeing that kind of like made me think, oh, okay, even these models that are like professional, their job is to like professionally look good, they still have stretch marks and they still have body hair, and you know, it's like a perfectly normal thing. And now like I really don't care that much. And then the final question I'm going to answer is, do you regret any of your tattoos? I don't regret any of my tattoos. I love all of my tattoos. I think because I got ones that had so much meaning behind them, and especially when they're related to like my family members and stuff, I feel like I'm never going to regret that. The only thing that I do regret about this one is I wish I'd got it a little bit bigger because I know that like over the years it's gonna like blur out more and you'll probably lose like some of the definition in the writing. So I do wish that I got it done a little bit bigger, but I still absolutely love it. And yeah, I love my tattoos. Thank you guys so much for your questions. If you did ask me any on Instagram, whenever I do these kind of Q&As, I always ask these little like poll things on my Instagram, so make sure you're following me over there. And thank you to Always for partnering up with me for the beginning section of this video. If you guys are interested in the Platinum Night Pads, I will leave a link down below. I'm not going to do a question of the day just because I've just answered so many questions, but if you do have any questions for me, leave them down below with the hashtag question of the day and I will pick one to answer in my next video. I'm going to go edit this now. I hope you guys are good and I will see you in my next video. Bye!